What it do, bruh? Talk of the town, Nintendo, Doc Trey, still holding it down, still make the best games, and you know this, bro. It's the truth. If you don't like it, you can have that seatbelt.
I know I've made a lot of videos about Metroid and a lot of videos about Metroid Prime 4 since it was announced last year, but hey, I am a Metroid super dork, I am a Metroid expert, that is what I do, and for the most part, you guys have actually seemed to really love all of the Metroid content that I've produced for you before. However, there is an elephant in the room that we definitely have to and are going to address in this video before we get into the details about Metroid Prime 4, the basically confirmed developer, my thoughts on what all that stuff means, as exciting as it is. We've got to address how things have played out the last few days, and this has been a fun little Twitter thing that's just been happening the past few days. Any of you guys who are a part of Twitter and follow myself and many other well-known YouTubers, you definitely saw what happened over the course of the past 48 hours. The way things played out, mostly this evening, the back half of the day today, and the way this person kind of was a little bit rude, you could say, as far as tweets that this person was making towards me, about me, as well as a tiny little video he posted himself today, and the fact that he featured myself and my name and my tweet, I figured, fuck it, I'm not gonna hold back. I'm happy to at least share who this person is one time so that we just understand who we're talking about. So this whole crazy thing, again, you Twitter followers are familiar with this, has to do with another YouTuber called DocTrey81. You can see his Twitter profile here. Now, Doc Trey is not somebody who I really know. I've never spoken to him before this whole thing kind of blew up about Metroid and Bandai Namco and all that stuff. I was familiar with him. I'd seen a few videos over the last few years, and I mostly knew of him just because some other good friends of mine and fellow creators also know him pretty well or are good friends with him or whatever and like and share his videos occasionally. Like I said, I've seen a few of his videos in the past. I'm not really like a big fan of what I've seen, just mostly because they're very short videos. There's usually not a lot of conversation or anything happening in them. They're for, I guess, a different kind of audience, and they're not bad. I've never disliked them, but they just haven't been for me. So
why you always lying?
that's the individual in question. Not really going to try to repeat his name too many other times so as to not make this so much of a big shaming thing, but we all know who we're talking about here, let's be real. You know, 2 days ago, I saw this tweet which referenced this document, and this document seems to be something that was apparently found online, on LinkedIn, at least as far as what I knew when I saw this tweet. And the big thing here, and the rumor being stated in this tweet, was from the very top line, referring to Nintendo Switch games, and it states right there, projects for this lead designer who works for Bandai, unannounced IP, first-person shooter/adventure exclusive, to the Nintendo Switch. So as soon as I saw this, I made this tweet where I said, hey guys, I don't really think this is talking about Metroid. I did state that it is 100% not Metroid, and okay, maybe that percentage was a little bit too high and a little bit lofty, but honestly, it was kind of just an innocent tweet that was just using a couple of quick phrases to just get the idea out there. Because what I noticed is that this thing lists, and according to the time frame, 1 year and 10 months after May 2016. So basically a current document that was posted just very recently is what this thing is stating. And when it describes an unannounced IP that's exclusive to the Switch, well, that to me couldn't be Metroid Prime 4. It didn't sound like Metroid Prime 4 to me.
Hey everyone, Derek here with a quick news update on a potential big leak that could hint at some future Nintendo Switch games. So as discovered by a YouTuber by the name of Dr81, he's discovered a LinkedIn profile that hints at 2 games coming to the Nintendo Switch. One we knew about and one we didn't know about. So under experience for this LinkedIn profile, it says lead designer at Bandai Namco Studios, Singapore, from May 2016 to the present. And under that section, it says projects, unannounced IP, first-person shooter/adventure, exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. That very much points to Metroid Prime.
But hey, I am a Metroid super dork, I am a Metroid expert. Doesn't sound like Metroid Prime 4 to me. Metroid Prime 4 was announced almost 1 year ago at E3, well before this document apparently was created according to the dates and the information on the document. Now, a first-person shooter adventure that's exclusive to a Nintendo platform, yeah, that otherwise sounds like a Metroid Prime game. Absolutely, I believe that 100%. But I'm not saying it's 100% impossible that Bandai is developing the game. I don't believe that Bandai is making Metroid Prime 4, but sure, it's possible. I mean, hey, why not? What I don't think is that the words on this document are stating that this is Metroid Prime 4. That's what I believed then, and as far as I'm concerned, even still now, even though we basically know it is happening, I still stand by the analysis of the words on this document that didn't describe Metroid Prime 4 in February of 2018. That game was announced a year ago. So now I'm sure you're wondering, how does this other person, the other YouTuber, another Twitter person get involved? And this back and forth started between Rob and this person that got really just like dumb and stupid and over the top. And, you know, he started saying things about Rob and even made a video and referenced him. And Rob said things about him. And oh my gosh, what's going to happen? How's Rob going to respond? What's the response going to be? He's got to say something, or is he not going to say anything? And I'll tell you what, it's all about responses. People care about responses. Grab your fucking popcorn, kids, because Rob's about to show you how it's done. So the following morning, I woke up and the other person had picked up on this, and it turns out is also taking ownership for this. And because of that, my tweet, or a couple of my tweets, had made it to his attention, and he was like super unhappy about it. He made a couple of weird posts about it. He referenced my tweet. Thank goodness for another follower of mine who basically tagged me in it, so I knew that he was referencing it, because I had no idea it was associated with another YouTuber who was claiming to be responsible for this or what have you. And you know, and then it just became a back and forth, and it was a very interesting conversation because the other person was very much just saying all these things about, oh, you're just dumb, you're calling everything fake, and you're doing all these things, and you don't believe me, and like, what about me? Give me the attention, and this is wrong, and all these things.
Always lying to me, and his false lying so much. You making it hard for me.
You know, full transparency, I did make one tweet before this person got involved, and I even knew he was around, where I did throw out a tweet, and I used the word fake about that document. And you know what? Hey, that was my bad. I owned it up. I owned up to it on Twitter, and that was, I didn't really mean the word as seriously as I said it. I didn't know anyone was out there who would take personal offense to believing or not believing this Metroid thing. And so I guess that probably made it to his attention, and so everyone got mad and up in arms and really sensitive about it. And so it became this thing where he was saying, you're just wrong, you're dumb, it's got to be this, listen to the facts, this and that. It's crazy, and you know, I was trying to break through to this person to help them understand, don't take it personal, let's see what happens, great for you, you broke this, maybe you're right, maybe I'm wrong, whatever. But just don't take it so personal, like, let's be cool here. And this person wasn't having it and just kept saying the same thing over and over again, actually. Honestly, like, there really wasn't a whole lot of different information coming from this side of the conversation. Don't really know what the blockage there was that prevented that from happening. But, you know, at some point I was like, hey, bro, let's be men about this. Let's be adults. I would like you to follow me because I followed you. Let's have a private conversation in DMs, and let's just man up about this and talk about this like adults and come to a conclusion. And yeah, so that was declined because, you know, he had to take a nap. A nap. And hey, Trey, I get it, man. I get wanting to take a nap. I get not wanting to go into a DM with me. I use a lot of big words. Dude, seriously, I can really relate to being super not into having a conversation with me. It's really intimidating. I wouldn't want to have a conversation with me either if I was in your position. So honestly, I totally understand why that nap was necessary. So that kind of ended it. I had to say to everyone who was watching on Twitter, you know what? I tried to find the cordial way to end this, tried to be classy, try to come out of this like men and friends on the other side of it. That opportunity was denied to me for reasons that anyone who watched the conversation play out obviously understood. And I'd even try to give benefit to the doubt to the other person, saying, hey, I'm sure he's a good person too. We're all passionate video game people, and Metroid is a big game we all really care about and we're excited about. So hey, people got things to say, we have big opinions flying, and it was probably just more than either of us even wanted to deal with. So let's let bygones be bygones. I got no hate for the guy, and let's just see what happens whenever Nintendo tells us more about Metroid Prime 4. Now that brings us to today, when again, like I said, first thing in the morning, an article from Eurogamer, who has become very reputable over the past couple of years, was posted, and they basically say it is all but confirmed that, yeah, Bandai Namco is the developer of Metroid Prime 4. They have this Singapore branch thing, and it's a new team. It matches up with some quotes we've heard from Nintendo. And while we haven't heard confirmation from Nintendo, they are still stating, hey, thanks to the wonderful sleuths at Reset Era, the Reset Era people have discovered and confirmed that, yeah, Metroid Prime 4 is going to be developed by Bandai. So, hey, Who would have thought that the people at Reset Era were so very accurate when doing research and breaking scoops like this? So Eurogamer tells us that Reset Era has confirmed Bandai and Metroid Prime 4. So I could get into this whole thing about the fact that Nintendo hasn't confirmed it, so maybe it's not going to be true. Whatever. At this point, man, the way the last 2 days have been, where there's smoke, there's fire as far as I'm concerned. For the sake of this video, it's Bandai. Bandai's developing Metroid Prime 4. Hopefully Nintendo talks about it soon. So we'll go ahead and finish this video with the assumption that that is completely true, which means that, hey, even though Reset Era discovered this information, we'll go ahead and finish this video with the assumption that that is completely true, which means that, hey, even though Reset Era discovered this information, Trey very much believed it early on, and he was the one who was fighting with me and apparently other people, stating, hey, it's Metroid Prime 4, don't you know it's Metroid Prime 4? So in that respect, the guess that Trey had was correct, and so he got that correct. That Bandai is making Metroid Prime 4. That's totally fantastic. The problem then became, suddenly this other person had so many more things to say, and as the day went on and it came closer to evening, a bunch of tweets started coming out, and to be fair, a couple of really great Twitter followers of mine kind of started a conversation because they were trying to, like, defend me and be like, hey, he wasn't trying to say this or that or whatever, which I super appreciate. I didn't want anyone to get involved with the conversation. And then this other person went off, had a bunch more stuff to say. You can see some more tweets. And it turned out that whereas I thought there might be some humility and a little bit of a humble attitude, because many times throughout the interaction I said, hey, you might be right. I even hope you're right. I said that in more than one place, in places that I know he saw, and I even tagged him in. Hey, if you're right, cool. I hope you're right. I don't really care. It's just what it is. And he was, you know, this person was basically just still not humble and was acting like a very strange young person about it. So you know what? That's where it came to. I still had nothing. I didn't need to make any more of a big scene about it on Twitter or anything. You know, at this point, who this person is and how they think is exposed. You know, they made this first video, and you can tell by the title of this first video, I have confirmed the truth, even though we all know it was Reset Era. The truth about Metroid Prime 4, and so this is what it is. And then his follow-up video, the one that he made today, did feature my tweet, my Twitter post, my name, and all that good stuff. It was a minute and a half of no talking, no descriptions, no thoughts or opinions. It was basically just showing tweets because, you know, having to be right is really important when you're playing around on the playground all day. I totally get it. So I was like, whatever. I'm going to make my video tonight because at this point, we have some really good information to go on to discuss Metroid Prime 4, which 100 minutes into this video I'm about to get to. And, you know, I'll have to spend the first couple of minutes addressing this situation, letting this person know my thoughts and what really happened. And so, yeah, at this point, you know, I realized I just got to wash my hands of this. We got some good information about Metroid to go on, so I'm just going to make my video tonight. And as far as the other person goes, I mean, I don't really know what the mental blockage is there. Completely unable to comprehend what was going on, that nothing needed to be taken personal. It was just a dumb thing about a dumb video game. I would hope that you have more important things to do with your life than worry so much about just being right on the internet. Like I said, the guess you made based off of Reset Era's information was definitely true, and so good for you. You got that right. But who really cares, man? And apparently it's all this person has to hold on to in their little life. But I'll say this, Trey. Here's how I was going to do things earlier in the day before things and shit got all out of whack and you made your dumb little kid tweets. Here's how we were going to do like we normally do on Rule of Two Review, like adults and like men. I was going to be sharing this beer with you virtually on the internet. It's something I like to do. I think it's important. Bygones be bygones. We had a dumb debate a couple of days ago. Some information about Metroid came out. Seems like you might be right, even though I never outright denied the possibility. This is what you were going to get, man to man. But I feel like there's a different drink that probably makes a lot more sense to you. You might actually like quite a bit more. So this is the drink that you, my man, Doc Trey, get to have for the evening. And, I don't know, do you like orange? I know they're really tasty. I think it's going to suit you and your mentality quite a bit better than everything else that's going on. This is going to stay in the fridge. I'll drink this a little bit later, after we're done wrapping up this conversation about Metroid. And hey, like I said, I extended my hand as a man to give you an opportunity to talk with me and just hash it out behind the scenes. And you had an opportunity to be a bigger person and to have an adult conversation, to have a little bit of humility and show some grace. And you denied that opportunity because, again, beauty sleep is important, so that's totally fine. This beverage is for you, my man. And here's the one last thing I'll say before finally getting to the Metroid portion of this video. There is only one thing that you basically have my permission to do in the future. If you so choose, I will allow for you to send me another private message, take me up on my initial offer, and talk about it like a man and an adult behind the scenes, and just hash the shit out, man. Let's just do it the way people are supposed to do it, with our words and our minds, and like bros. That's the way it's supposed to be. That's what I wanted. We're just talking games. It doesn't have to be so serious. And yeah, so if you so decide, you do have my permission to send me that message, and hey, maybe we can come out of this okay on the other side. Now I know, man, I know you're going to want to respond. I know you're going to want to say something, and I'm going to tell you at this point, just don't. Just don't. You're not equipped to be able to handle the situation, the kind of person I am. You don't know me before this whole thing started, so I can kind of understand how you let this thing get to this point. But I'm going to recommend, just don't go there, bro. I know you're thinking about sending a tweet or making that video, and no, get your hand off the mouse, bro. Don't do it. And when it describes an unannounced IP that's exclusive to the Switch, well, that to me couldn't be Metroid Prime 4. It didn't sound like Metroid Prime 4 to me.
And then he said I was ugly and I couldn't read good.